Welcome back to the Common Sense Podcast, where common minds come together because
common sense ain't that common. And one thing that is common is everybody is watching this show called You know we had to do it, right? You know we had to do it. It's been a trend. It just ended. You know, everybody talking about season 3, what they felt about it, what they didn't like about it. So how about we just tell y'all the truth? So let's get right to the intro.
So when it comes to the story and or plot of Invincible, how would you say you felt about it overall in season 3?
So I feel like the common theme of what's been wrong with the series is there hasn't been a central plot since season 1. Everybody knew Omni-Man. Okay, spoilers, obviously. Spoilers. We're just go ahead and say it right now.
Whenever we talk about something, it's
right. This is a recap. So Omni-Man killed all the Guardians of the Globe. They were trying to figure out if he did it, if he didn't. The audience knew, the characters didn't know. Classic. I like that. We knew we was trying to get to a certain point. Season 2, we didn't know what nothing was about. Season 2 was a bunch of random events, and they took that break. It sucked.
Right.
Season 3, it was about morality to me. And I think you kind of got the aftermath of what happened in season 1, especially with Mark. And you get a little bit of 2 with Langstrom, but we'll get a little bit more into that as we continue to go on. But it was more about the mortality. Should I kill people? Should I not? I'm a superhero. I'm the strongest superhero on Earth. Should I be able to kill people or should I not? And I feel like that's been the question that's been haunting Mark ever since he killed Langstrom. And you also see that a little bit in the clips. I think it was like episode 4 or 5 where you saw like the villains. And I think they did a really good job of showing you why villains do what they want to do, what they do, because they tried to live a normal life. It still didn't go right for them, and it caused what happened to them to happen to them. So what did you think about it?
Honestly, as you said, I think it was a huge step up from season 2. However, I do believe that the whole Viltrumite or Mark War, I guess you could say, different variants of Mark, I wish that would have been the entire season. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
I enjoyed the entire season, and besides that, I wouldn't change anything about it.
Right.
But I would have loved to seen that kind of like stretched for the entire season. But even though some of them lived, you know, they're probably going to come back to that at some point in time. But speaking of morality, I would like to ask you, how well do you think Invincible, do you think they do the whole what's right or what's wrong thing on purpose? They kind of blur the lines of what's right and wrong on purpose. And how do you think that plays to the villains versus the heroes? Because we see Mark, he fights with that all the time in his mind. Like, and of course he doesn't want to turn into his father.
Right.
So how do you think that plays in the show?
So I was honestly going back and thinking about how I was going to talk about Mark today. We have to realize Mark got out of high school not too long ago and is honestly a college student in his freshman or sophomore year. Mark has a lot of figuring out to do, and I feel like that's where the internal struggle does. You know, Mark is like one of them kids that got beat in front of the class, right? If parents came to class and beat them in front of the class, if that happened to you, you were available for compensation somewhere. I know you are, because nothing is the same after you get beat in front of the world like that. So I think it was the fact that my dad almost killed me, and you know how strong Viltrumites are, and he had to deal with some of those things that brought up episodes like with Powerplex, where that was a really good episode too, where he's kind of having to learn the action. So it's like, should I kill people like Powerplex? Should I not? Honestly, heroes create villains, and that's honestly been the story of how this goes over and over again. And so I think that's what Mark is doing. If I kill somebody, I mean, am I just going to create another villain by doing that? And so I think that's the tug of war that's going on.
We also have to give Mark some credit and give him a pass for certain things, because like with everything you said, just look of the last 3 episode stretch.
Right.
You had Powerplex, who was a complete crash out, who was willing to do anything it took to get revenge at Mark, Invincible.
Kill his family,
do anything. You had the Mark invasion. From Angstrom. Yeah, he had to deal with Angstrom himself.
Again.
And then you have conquest.
Which is crazy for someone to deal with.
He never got, like,
a break.
Right, he never got a break.
He never got a break.
And that could be mentally taxing
right.
for a lot of people. And so the fact that, and he has the stress of being the strongest superhero in at least the city where they're
Earth.
at. Right, on Earth. Yeah, on Earth. Yeah. So it's like, that's a lot of pressure.
And you're the son of Omni-Man. And that never goes away.
That never goes away.
It never goes away. But there's also a bunch of great subplots that happen. So Cecil and Mark seems like, especially early on in the season, it's intense. It's a lot of back and forth. But I think Cecil's backstory that we saw, he was just like Mark.
Right.
He kind of understood.
They
he wanted to do it the right
other.
way. He wanted to do things the right way. But he was realizing, hey, if this is going to work out, everything can't be that way. And that's what he's trying to teach Mark. And that happened where it's tug of war thing. Now, Cecil is a bit unethical about how he does things. But at the end, you can see he was screaming for Cecil's name. because Cecil worked. How did you think about the plot? Or who did you kind of side with when it was like the Mark versus Cecil type thing?
Because I was going to say exactly what you said. They parallel each other. When you saw Cecil with the gas incident.
Earlier on.
That's it, like you said, he has to make those tough decisions. So he would know the balance between good or bad or doing something for the greater good.
Right.
So in this instance, I'm going to have to side with Cecil.
I did too.
I'm going to have to side with Cecil. I understand both perspectives, right? But when you take the whole thing into consideration, there's a couple things I don't agree with Cecil. For example, I think, what's it called? I think Cecil being transparent is a problem.
Yeah.
I think if he would have told Mark, like if he would have told Mark all of these things, obviously Mark would have.
Mark probably would have still crashed out.
Mark would have still had a problem with it, but at the same time, the problem is that he did it behind his back and he didn't tell him. Also, putting a sound device in his head without his permission, kind of crazy.
But after what the last Viltrumite did, can you really blame him? Can you really blame him?
You can't blame him. But also, you also think about Darkwing, him making him a guardian of the globe. That's kind of like after what he did.
Right.
It's kind of like that's kind of crazy. So I can understand where Mark's coming from. But at the end of the day, Cecil his whole responsibility is to protect the world.
Right, and he makes that known.
Right.
He's gonna choose the world over any individual.
Right, and Mark is also a hypocrite at times.
He is.
He is a hypocrite. So like, for instances, he holds grudges against Sinclair and Darkwing. But
I want you to hold on because I know we're gonna talk about character development too. Don't go too deep into Mark. Don't go too deep into Mark.
I got you.
Another subplot. Some people loved it. Some people hate it. Adam, Eve, and Mark. You're the relationship guru when it comes to this animated stuff. What would you think of the relationship? How did you feel about it? I didn't care for it either.
Okay, listen. You as my witness, when we watched season 1, when I first saw Invincible and Adam Eve, did I not say, oh, that's the love interest?
Right, that should be the girl. Because Amber just didn't work, obviously. Amber didn't work.
The best thing about the relationship with Amber and Mark was the montage that they got.
Oh yeah, because that song is fire.
That was the best thing that came out of that relationship. Amber was so annoying, but the thing with Adam and Eve for me, as far as romance goes, it felt like a rebound because
for both of them,
because you had Adam Eve, who obviously dated Rex, but then she went off to kind of like self-discovery and she was getting over the issue with her parents, and then you have Mark, who just got out of a relationship with Amber. He's going through stuff. It felt like a whim. It was just kind of like, hey,
well, you single, I'm single,
we known each other for a long time.
Why not?
We both superheroes.
So I guess that kind of worked there. And then we see other relationships form, like Rex and Ray.
Best couple in the show. The best couple.
It seems like they had better chemistry. Better chemistry.
You want to know what's different though? I think Rex's character development plays in with their relationship.
It does.
And that helps it because obviously we see his character development, but we see the character development through Ray, his relationship with Ray.
Yeah.
We saw that
because she's more mature than he is.
Right. You saw that going into the situation.
Yeah.
And so you see him taking note of the things that she likes. You saw him cook dinner for her.
Right.
You saw him go grocery shopping with her.
Yeah.
And I have this quote. That to me definitely is what made them a better relationship than Adam, Eve, and Mark. So there's this quote that Ray says to Rex when she's arguing with him about living a regular life, and she says, Are you happy dying over and over again so that other people can get the lives that we couldn't get?
That's true. Yeah.
And then Rex says after that, I don't get to be happy. Mm-hmm. Deep, right?
Yeah.
Deep.
Because he was made, because he went by kind of his backstory too. He was made to be a weapon.
Right, he was made to be a weapon.
Right.
And so then you fast forward to Ray moving in, and we're about to have this happy moment.
Yeah, man, we know what happens.
And we know what happens. But before that happens, he says, for the first time in my miserable life, I'm in a good place. And that's because of Ray.
That's true.
So that is why they are a better couple by
It felt like
far.
they needed each other, whereas Mark and Adam Eve, it was just kind of a balancing act.
Right.
Another side thing I wanted to bring up or subplot is Oliver. I think we know Oliver got his issues. Oliver is a better superhero than Mark is. I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. He's a better superhero than Mark is.
I agree.
First of all, he came on the scene kind of harsh. Okay, because him killing the twins was crazy. I didn't think they was gonna go that far, but at least
he willing to do something.
He was like never in, because how many people have the twins killed ever since?
Right.
None. We don't see them no more.
Right.
They're gone, right? And even with him trying to fit in, I think he's more of okay. Although he doesn't know what Omni-Man did, obviously. He doesn't know the extent of it.
Right.
Although people tell him, I don't think he really believes in it. Because, I mean, he wore the O on his chest like, he really King Von out here. So, you know what I'm saying? I've liked the growth of Oliver. Even kind of, he's always there for Mark, too. Because I saw someone else bring this up. I think I saw it on TikTok. It was like, because he remembers his childhood. So he remembers how Mark was there for him when he was a child and fought all the Viltrumites for him. So like when he rushes in to help Mark, it's because that's what his memories of Mark.
Right.
So when he got slapped by Conquest, he was trying to help Mark. And so the last subplot before we go into character development is Conquest himself. What did you think of the big bad villain that they had?
Okay, obviously at first, when you watch the fight between Mark and Conquest, you rooting for Mark like you got a parlay.
Yeah,
like,
come on,
bro.
And the way they set us up in the past episode, he was like, all right, I'm ready to hit y'all. I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all talking. So I thought this was Mark finna show up. He finna show up.
But then,
good guy. He was like, please stop.
Obviously, we can say Conquest is stronger than Omni-Man, right?
Yeah,
we can say that.
That's what it looked like.
You're right. So I just think, I honestly, it was the same feeling I had toward any other villain that shows up in Invincible. But I will say, I started feeling a little bit for him at the end when he gave his monologue
about what Viltrumites do to each other and how he feels like an outcast compared to them.
Right. He
like
said,
the monologue he had. Are you about to go ahead and say?
Yeah, he was basically. I think he said I was giving. I was criminal to like my own success. They called me Conquest. They didn't even give me a name. Yeah, they didn't even give me a name or anything. And he constantly alludes to, we can't have those type of relationships.
Yeah, like you care for someone that I just killed. That's so weird.
Right. And we always knew that the Viltrumites were a little crazy up there, and they didn't value like interpersonal or relationships and stuff like that.
Even with Nolan in season 1, he's kind of like battling, like, should I just kill everybody?
Right.
Or is that somebody I like?
Right.
Like, what is this?
Right.
Yeah. And they don't know. Yeah.
Right. And so I think in the fight between Invincible and Conquest, that's where we really see it.
Because there's some depth to Conquest. And Cecil keeping him alive is very interesting.
Boy, when Mark find out,
oh, he gonna be mad. He gonna be mad again. Be mad again. So that's definitely some stuff as far as the plot. What do you rate the plot 1 out of 10?
For season 3?
Season 3.
I gotta give it.
You can't say anything in the 7s.
I wasn't gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8 as of right now.
I agree.
Because I'm waiting for what's gonna come.
Wait, how do you feel about the end of the fight?
I hated it. Okay. Let me not say hate. Hate is a strong word. I didn't understand it.
Right.
And so being that I didn't understand it, it made me be like, okay.
Mark still don't got a real win.
Right.
And
no,
that's
he doesn't.
To me, and I think that's the perfect segue to character development. So I think Mark not having a real win hurts him in this season over and over again. Because I feel like we go back and forth. For Mark is this strong Viltrumite. Mark is the strongest person on earth. But then he be losing to like the Soundwave dude in the first 2 episodes. Like, Mark, what? We heard his power level went up 70%. All of this, 110%.
How you let Oliver catch a body before
Doc
you?
Seismic? You needed Darkwing to save you from him? How was Mark so fast in certain moments and in other moments he's as slow as everyone else? I feel like his power level dynamic is so weird from time to time. And even versus Conquest, he never really took the edge in that fight ever. He was losing from the start to the end.
And he never killed him.
Literally from the start
As
to the end. And Adam Eve had to burn him alive for him to even have a chance in that fight.
Which was, I guess you could say, plot armor, because that just came out of nowhere. Like, I understand the whole explanation of her having mental blocks. Like, maybe it's a longer explanation and it's better explained in the comics.
And she fought Conquest way better than Mark did.
Right,
I feel like she had a fighting chance versus him.
Right, and then even then, like, with Adam Eve, I felt like she was dead. Like, she was gone.
She should have been.
And so, with her having mental blocks and stuff like that, we should have seen that somewhere in the show.
In her story, yeah.
Right, when we seen her backstory, even when she was fighting as a young child, we
saw that one episode, yeah.
We should have seen that somewhere, and maybe I missed it. Maybe I don't remember.
But I don't remember it. I feel like it should have been made more of an emphasis if he was going to use that for her to win a battle.
If you was going to use that in a win against Conquest, someone that was whooping Mark's behind, you should have made that more of an emphasis.
And again, I think Mark continues to struggle over and over. It's like Mark is so confused that I'm confused about how I feel about Mark.
Right.
Because Mark on one hand be like, nah, we shouldn't kill nobody, blah, blah, blah. He gets on Oliver about killing, but he's ready to kill Langstrom. And it's just like, well Mark, what side are you going to be on? See, first of all, you know me, I'm a Batman fan, okay? I get it. And he's like, and Oliver's Jason Todd out, okay? So, but you have to pick a side. Because now Mark is like, all right, I'm going to kill everybody who gets in the way again. But it's just like, are you going to ignore everything that happened in this past season by doing that? And so that's where I kind of get confused with Mark. Are you going to pick a side, or are you just going to be in this middle form? Right. I don't see how you can be a hero and necessarily be in the middle all the time either.
All I'm going to say is, if Mark turns up in the next season, he hates his mom. That's all I'm going to say. He hates his mom. He hates his family. Because it took Adam Eve to be almost near death for you to turn up.
But see, Mark, like I said, Mark ain't no real hero to me. Remember when Adam Eve was in the hospital and he was acting like there was 18 of him out there torturing the world.
His mom and his brother was out there.
And he's in the hospital talking about, I can't leave Adam Eve.
Rex out here sacrificing himself.
Like, again, you can't say that and have no moments.
Right.
You haven't beaten anybody to say that. And I hate using anime parallels, but I feel like since we do anime too, it's a good parallel. Midoriya has more moments than Mark. And I feel like that's saying a lot because Midoriya, even earlier on, Midoriya is he's always crying all of this, but there are certain moments where you feel like, all right, this the main character of this show, and he's finna show me why. Mark doesn't have those moments to me.
But even then, Deku himself, he values trying to save the bad guy.
Right.
Like, you see it all the time where it's like he's trying to convince people, but even then, Deku gets to a point where it's like, all right.
Right. And like, Mark doesn't even know what he's doing sometimes. And it's just like, are you the strongest or are you not the strongest? Are you going to have this mortality? Are you going to kill everybody you see? First of all, he already caught 2 bodies this season anyway because he killed the Immortal in the future as well. So it's just like,
all I'm saying is,
what are you gonna do? That's what I'm confused about where he's going. That's
the same energy you have with Cecil, you need to have with everybody else.
Right, because when it's Cecil, it's on site.
It's on site.
People to throw everything else. But on to you. Man, I should grab some tissues, man.
Oh.
Character development of your boy Rexplode, man. It feel like he had full circle. He was at the top of his life. And boy, they took it away. Just like that. How you felt about it, man?
First of all, Rex is the best character in Invincible.
Oh yeah, I think the most depth. I think he's a fan.
He is my favorite. And I'm not one of these people that hopped on the bandwagon after he died.
Nah, he was a fan. You were a fan of season 1.
I was a fan of Rex from season 1. And you know what makes it hurt the most?
Yeah.
It's the pump fake.
Yeah.
It's the pump fake.
Because he should have died when he got shot.
He should have died when he got shot in the head.
Yeah.
But he came back just for you to take him from us again.
And I feel like they didn't give him enough chance to feel it. Like he died, and we got a little scene of Ray crying in the car, but that was just like it. And Robot was like, "Oh, Rex is dead."
Right.
That's it.
And let me just say this, right? This is why I will never forgive Invincible, Mark, and I will never forgive the Immortal. Because let me tell you something. You have the Immortal, someone who is a cheat code. You literally cannot die. And you hanging it up to start a life with Kate? After he was fighting, he literally fought one variant of Mark alongside the other Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah.
Rex was by himself and he took out one.
It took out one. And Mark could have helped.
And Mark could have helped, but guess where he was? But guess where he was? Where was he?
With Adam Eve.
With Adam Eve. And then I'll even say this, the funeral, terrible. I hated the funeral.
It felt like nobody cared that he
Nobody cared, bro. Ray didn't even speak at the funeral. Like, I hate, and then you have the audacity of Mark to sit here and smile just because, I'm happy that Adam Eve is alive. I'm happy that you're still here.
Like, it's like he didn't even care that he died.
Didn't even care, but who was the one that honestly brought Mark and Adam Eve together in the first place? It was Rex. And who is always there for Invincible when he's getting beat up? Who is always there?
When Cecil was like, all right, let's pack him up.
Who was there?
He was the first one to jump for you, and you don't care about him at all.
Don't get me started on Robot Boy. Don't get me started on Robot Boy. My name Rex. You will never be Rex.
My name Rex too.
You will never.
He said I got his DNA.
Ever be Rex. I don't care if you got his DNA. I don't care if you got his DNA. You will never be Rex. That's all I have to say about it.
And also another character development. We keep seeing, we didn't see a lot of him this year, but Omni-Man is showing again kind of that full circle. Okay, I know what I did, especially the whole breakout scene with Alan. I also want to see more of them. More of
right. I thought they was gonna come back. I thought they was gonna come back. The last episode. Honestly,
yeah. Because Conquest was he was talking to Mess and he was doing what he was supposed to do.
Right.
So you kind of see him kind of going through the withdrawals. You had the whole "I miss my wife" thing in season at the end of the season.
We don't know which wife he's talking about because the last one Debbie was his pet, so we don't know which one he's talking about.
The other one died. So process of elimination.
No, I mean she's dead and he can miss her because she's dead.
We have a tough Omni-Man critic. Stay tuned for Omni-Man. We got some stuff coming for y'all. But you know what I'm saying? You kind of see that, okay, he's trying to get back on the right track. He kind of knows that it's like he's about to turn coat on Viltrum, which is kind of weird. It's because you did all of that and you still about to turn coat. So that's what
I applaud you. I applaud you for like realizing where you went wrong.
Right.
And trying to make it right.
Yeah.
It took a lot of convincing from Alan, but you finally, you made the right decision.
All right. So definitely something they could work on. I thought it was solid character development for this season too. So what would you rate this season overall? If
I would rate this season overall, specifically, taking into consideration where we came from season 2.
Yeah. I mean, season 2, I would rate probably like a 5.8 out of 10.
I give you half. But taking into consideration that, the character development, the moments, I'm gonna have to give it a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9.
That's high.
Hey, I'm gonna give it a 9 because I enjoyed it.
Just ask, what do you rate season 1?
Oh, season 1 was tough too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's better than season 1 though, and I think season 1 is probably a 9. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think season 1 is probably like a 9.
You making me reconsider.
That's the best season. I don't think it's better than season 1. I honestly rate it like a 7.5. Let me tell you why.
I'll give it an 8 then.
You give it an 8?
Yeah, if season 1 is a 9, then I'm gonna have to give it an 8.
Right. They don't have a main villain to care about. I think they beat Conquest.
That's a good point.
Too bad. And I think what made season 1 so magical is because we knew, but the characters didn't know. So you saw, and even at the end scenes, you saw steps. Are they getting closer? Is Omni-Man weird? Why did he do it? It was although we saw, it was like, why did he do it? You know what I'm saying? And we kind of like figured that out towards the end. With this one, you kind of had Langstrom just pop up, start a whole war, and it was over by like in the next 30 minutes. It was just like, I don't care. Langstrom has no aura to me at all. I feel nothing when I see him on the screen.
I was surprised he was still alive. Like, I was just like, oh, okay.
Like, I got more from Conquest in a couple of minutes than I got from Langstrom this entire period of him watching Mark and all that other stuff.
Yeah, but that's why I said I feel like the Mark or the, is it called the Viltrumite War or the Mark variant?
Yeah, Mark variant.
Yeah, the Mark variant. situation, I felt like that should have been an entire season because that would have been
or at
the
least
focus.
a 3-episode stretch or something.
Right, something like that. That would have been the focus. So yeah, I mean, I still give it an 8 out of 10. I think the seasons coming up are going to be bangers.
I like the message of this season about the morality because they don't talk about that a lot with superheroes.
No,
so I
they
think
don't.
they touched on it. They did a very good
villains.
job. The villains, the smaller tier villains, they did a better job on than I feel like the larger scale ones.
Like which ones you
Like
saying?
the criminals that were in the couple together.
Oh yeah.
We saw more. They had so much depth in that 10 minutes.
And there was no sound.
Yeah. Then we've ever seen with Langstrom. Langstrom is just evil, it seems like.
Right.
And it's just
we've seen his other variant, I believe, lost his whole family.
Right.
So that was, yeah.
I get the reason, but it's just like, it was something more relatable about all the other ones. Even Power Play. As crazy as Power Play is,
he was better.
You can kind of compensate on why he's so upset.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could see it. But with everyone else, it was kind of Invincible. I don't like Omni-Man. I don't like you. Y'all shouldn't be here.
I don't know. Powerplex, he just refused to see reason.
Like, but I think him losing his family pushed him to that point.
Yeah.
So I think that's where that went. And yeah, I think you said, I think the show will get better with time. Hopefully, everybody's been complaining about the animation. What do you think about the animation of the show? I think it's good enough.
It's not that bad of a drop off to where it's like,
oh my gosh, I
can't watch it. Like some of y'all was talking about with Blue Lock.
I don't think it was that bad.
But nah.
Yeah. But yeah, 7.5 out of me, 8 for her. Let us know what you thought about the season 3 of Invincible. Definitely the finale too. Did you think they got bailed out? We think they got bailed out just a little bit. But definitely like and subscribe. Again, tell us what you thought. You got anything?
No, I don't have nothing else to say.
Well, common sense out. And this has been our review of... Supposed to play the title card.